Good morning and welcome to Mrs. Bell's Sweet Treats and More. This is my YouTube channel. Today is Monday. This is Monday Moments. Welcome to our cool day. As you see, I have my jacket on. It is really feeling like fall here in New England. I am making a really quick, wonderful pumpkin cake here. It's not really a bread, not really a cake. It's gonna have nuts in it and a nice topping. So it's going to be probably a pumpkin delight. I am going to be using my usual ingredients, you know, the eggs and the butter and all that good stuff. And I have some pecans, and you certainly don't have to use, make this topping with nuts for those who have nut allergies. And I'm going to be using some pumpkin. So I'm also doing a little shortcut. Instead of making a whole cake using all the batter and all of the flour and all of that, I'm going to just start with this spice cake recipe with Duncan Hines spice cake box cake, and we're going to build on that. So I'll get started in a minute. Well, I'm going to come back here. I've started with flour, and then I'm going to add my brown sugar. I'm going to stir my flour a little bit, put some air in there. And to that, I'm going to add my brown sugar when it's packed. So I'm going to break that up. And then I'm going to add my pumpkin spice. I'm adding a teaspoon and a half to 2 teaspoonfuls to get it all the way in there. And I'll keep stirring it until it's all mixed in. And here is how it's looking. I'm continuing to go to the bottom because, you know, sometimes we like to hang out by ourselves. And this is a good time to learn that together we can do more. But we sometimes have to open up, you know. I'm going to add my melted butter. It's not hot. I'm going to add it in the middle slowly, so I'm not wearing any of this. And it smells so good. It smells like I'm really doing something here, and I haven't done anything. It's the spice and the butter and the brown sugar. So I'm just going to mix this together until I get a crumbly-like top, you know? And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And this is kind of the consistency. It's not really, I'm going to crumble it. And I'm going to add a pinch of salt. I have, I used salted butter, but sometimes when you have a lot of sugary, you want to cross that with some, with some salt. And then I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup, a half to 3/4 of a cup of pecans. And then I'm going to stir that together and set it aside. It smells really good. I'm just stirring it together. It kind of reminds you of cookie dough. For those times when you make cookies, you see how it's not really, we want it to be crumbly, and I'm going to use my hands. So I'm going to remove my rings because my hands are clean. But right now I'm just going to set this aside. I want to get it in there. Get it all in there. So I'm setting that aside, and then we'll be back. I'm back, and this is what I'm going to be using. It has some of the same ingredients that I want for my pumpkin cake here. So I'm going to be using that so I don't have to, you know, do everything from scratch. It's kind of a shortcut. So I'm using that package. I'm adding about half a stick of butter, or 4 tablespoonfuls. And I'm gonna mix this together. Uh-oh, don't want any more mistakes. And then I'm going to add my eggs. My pumpkin is really getting thick. See how it's getting thick. Well, it's not getting there, it's really there. And I'm just gonna put my pumpkin in. The pumpkin has a pumpkin flavor and it's really pungent, kind of sharp. So I'm gonna add some additional spice to this so that the pumpkin isn't smacking you in your face, so to speak. I'm going to add my vanilla. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of milk. And of course, the ingredients are, you click on the link for the ingredients and the amounts. I'm adding my pumpkin spice. Now I'm going to scrape this down because it's really, as you can see, I hope you can see, the pumpkin is going in, but it's still quite a bit of pumpkin on the side. So I'm gonna scrape this down and continue to beat it, and we'll be back. Okay, here we are in my pumpkinness, and I'm gonna move this over. I'm going to begin loading this into my pan, and I'm only gonna put half of it in here because we're gonna make it a surprise in the middle. Just press it into the pan until I get it nice and covered. And I'll be back. Now here's our goodness here. And I've sprayed this in the first layer. And I'm just gonna crumble this in the middle. And if you like more nuts, you can certainly add more. Pecans go so well, but some people may like walnuts. Walnuts gonna bake and has a little bit different, it's gonna have a different flavor. And if you'd like to try another nut, let me know if you try it and let me know how it comes out. So I'm putting this on here. And that's that layer. And then I'm going to take this and put the rest of it over that. I kind of like this. I've had the ones with the frosting, and I like the frosting okay, but I like this little change here. And the smell just reminds me of Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. Missing the days. You know, I remember my brothers, they're all younger than me. They would try the food that I make, but sometimes, have you ever had that in life? You think you done did something really fabulous because it smells so good, and only to find out, no. I remember once I was cooking in the kitchen at a recreational place, and I cooked. I was with these mothers, other mothers that love to cook, and so I would have days that I would cook. Well, this particular time I went in there to cook, the food burned up. I was distracted and it burned. So when it was time for the people to come, they all came and they could smell something, but they were kind of confused because what I did was I rushed and cleaned up the kitchen, wiped up everything as though nothing had happened. The phrase, what had happened was, and they, it was funny. They asked me where was the food, and I said, what food? I'll be back before I add the last top. Well, here it is. Here is our delicious pumpkin crunch. I took it out of the oven, still a little hot. Well, here we are. Here is our deliciousness here. And I've already cut it. This is our delicious piece. It is delicious. Nice crunchy top. Pumpkin spicy middle. Together we can do this. I hope you get to try this during this season. The crunchy top, oh my goodness. It's so perfect. You have a good one. Enjoy this time, this season, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.